Hello. I thought this might be interesting for owners of V12 Jags because I have one, and I had to change the radiator because, well, last time I went it was very hot here in BC. It would run warm, well above normal, which I wasn't happy about. I mean, V12 engines on Jags aren't quite as fussy as people seem to make out. You can get away with cooking them once or twice, but just not all the time, especially the later ones. Anyway, I got sick of it overheating, so I decided to put in the radiator in, and I bought an aluminum one, or aluminium as they say in England, and it's not the same radiator. It's deeper. It's a slightly different shape, and there's a few differences, and so I thought it might be useful to give just to give a few little tips. I had to remove the air conditioning from mine because the condenser, the cooling part of the air conditioning system that sits in front of the radiator, there just wasn't room for it, and didn't work anyway, and I hated it. I never liked air conditioning, so I binned it. But then I had to modify the radiator, and I'm going to show you what I did. Stand with me, so let's have to put this down. The sun next to me, so the sun right behind me, unfortunately, but I've absolutely no idea what I'm looking at because the sun's right. Oh, we good. That's pretty good actually. Right. So this is the new one. This is the new radiator. The old one is gone. Need to space it. This is the oil cooler for the engine is in front of it, and I'm going to show you that actually. So the oil cooler for the engine is there. There's two lines for it, one each side there. So that's what cools the engine. Now the transmission also has oil coolers. These are the lines that go from the transmission, from the old GM Turbo 400 to the radiator. They were different fittings. The ones I took off didn't work, so I had to extend the lines. These are actually JIC fittings. They're like flare fittings, but different angle, very high pressure hydraulic fittings, basically. So I put some JIC fittings on there, and then I put these barbs on, which I'm going to attach the hoses to. I'm going to show you what I did to the radiator, because as I say, it's a lot deeper. Yeah, the old radiator was probably that thickness. It's ugly, this. I have no idea if I'm going to be able to show you, but I actually cut the old posts off my old radiator. And then I glued them on. What I did is I actually put them in position in the car, dump loads of glue on them, and then just drop the radiator on top and let it set. And the original posts that were on here were way too far forward. I don't know why they were there, because on the old radiator they're at the back, at the rear. But anyway, this seems to work, and so I'm going to put that in. It's not the most elegant solution, but it works. There's two big rubber grommets there that this actually sits in. The other thing they did, I should mention this, is that on the old radiator, the bottom hose, this piece here, this is the fixture, on the old radiator came straight out. And it was such a tight fit up against the bulkhead of the car, just down there, that it was a bugger to get it on when the radiator was in there. So, and I noticed that on the new ones they've actually angled it, which makes total sense. But it just means that getting it in is a little tricky now, because of the fan cowling, which is sort of full width, kind of gets in the way a little bit, but it does go in. Angle it in a bit. take this off. So, that radiator is in. I have to put the top plate on there. I've measured the distance of the fan cowling from the from underneath, because it's bolted onto there's a frame member underneath that it's bolted onto. But I don't have to offset it. If I hadn't moved these on the bottom, I'd have had to push this back 2-3 inches, and there wasn't space for it, which is why I had to move the pegs on the bottom of the radiator. The top ones, I suspect, probably won't line up with the mounting that fits on top, but that's okay because I can just drill 2 more holes and, you know, jerry-rig it a bit. I think that you just need to do this kind of thing when when you're trying to fit an aftermarket part. And I'm glad I got this radiator, because the old one was absolutely plugged, and it probably weighed 3 times as much as this, 4 times I should think. It weighed like 40 pounds, whereas this is near 10. And you can see how I've taken the compressor off for the air conditioning. Hated them anyway. Horrible system. And you can get to the plugs at the front now, which is nice. Not very pretty at the moment because everything's been pulled out, everything's loose, but she's all ready to go. So I'll make another video once I've got this thing all filled up and installed.